All right, and we're back for another good show. Look, Damaged Blue, I've been wanting to call out people for faking the funk. I know Rachel Dozio has everybody thinking about the NAACP and whether or not their leader was really white or not. But I was the first one over at Hollywood Unlocked to call this person out that I got to talk about, Shaun King. He has become the black folks' messiah on social media because he can find every dead body that a white man is killed with a black man not having a gun and putting on his social media. Now, I'm not to say that he hasn't done good things, but Shaun King, I have said at Hollywood Unlocked, needs to be looked into because we've allowed this man to become the voice of our movement, which I thought was crazy. And it was Yandy. I'm gonna put that out there. Yandy from Love and Hip Hop New York, who told me to stop reporting on Shaun King because of the good things that he was doing. And I said, no. His family member came out, made some allegations that we should look into, and then Shaun King blocked us at Hollywood Unlocked. That for me was a red flag because, hey, I am here to promote the same stuff that he is, but I also have to hold him accountable. Let me tell you what Shaun King has done, Damage Blue. Shaun King has been called out by Tamir Rice's mother for stealing donation funds. I'm going to say allegedly because these are her words and I don't want to be sued. So activist Shaun King now is in the news. He bought a brand new luxurious home in New Jersey. Now, according to the Daily Mail, the lavish 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home that sits on Farrington Lake came with a hefty price tag of, listen, $842,000. Okay, so Tamir Rice's mother, Samaria, who I've never met, Damaged Blue, I've never met her. She's called him out and she said, quote, he's a clout chaser after he raised $60,000 in honor of her son. Now, she's gone after him saying that she didn't receive any of the money until a court intervened on her behalf. And she also didn't permit him to raise money on her son's behalf. Now, these are the photos of what she said. Shaun King owes Tamir Rice money from unauthorized fundraising, and that's the truth. She also said, and others that use my son's name and I'm building a foundation, Tamir Rice needs his money. She also said, the work I'm doing in the community with investing so our children can have a safe place, they know who they are. Guys, this is not good for Shaun. What do you guys think?
Ooh. I'm not surprised. I'm gonna be honest. Tamir Rice's mother is notoriously protective of her son's legacy, as she should be. And I've personally seen where she sent people cease and desist about how they're using her son's name, what kind of money is happening. So if Shaun King is the scammer that he is alleged to be, you would think that based on how she treats everyone else, he would know to skip her. So that was a weird moment. Also, full transparency, guys, when there was a thing between DeRay McKesson, Blue Vest, and Shaun King, I was assigned to do a really, really, really deep dive into Shaun King's past. I read a lot of receipts that I won't get into because we'll be here all day. And based on what I read for those 2 days of working on that story, Shaun has a lot of questions to answer that he still hasn't answered. And his wife's sentiment tends to be, well, whatever money he keeps from y'all owe us that because we're helping you out. So it's not just him, it's his wife. They're working as a team. And she, in some ways, from what I've seen, seems like a mastermind in this. So it's a couple, not just one person. I'm just saying, allegedly. If they are scamming, they're scamming as a couple. It's not just him.
Man, I feel like this is another case of toxic positivity. I mean, it's crazy because I hate that I'm saying this right now. I never donate to those causes because of this, because I'm afraid that everybody's raising this money and the people really affected don't get the profits. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but like you said, Blue, I've did my own research and stuff I've been looking into on Shaun King. And a lot of people that worked with him, worked in these organizations, people that gave him money to start things, it's never started. And he's still creating GoFundMe's. He's still raising money, using people's names to get profits. I don't know what Shaun King needs to do. I don't know if he needs to say I'm a for-profit kind of organization kind of person. But everybody thinks when they donate to these causes that it's going to the people that are affected. And clearly it's not. This is not the first time we heard this. It's kind of like, bro, it's hitting the fan.
Well, let me say, I also don't donate to these causes. I have 10 years experience working for a labor union, and I saw lots of dues money come in, and at least I knew what we were doing, negotiating contracts, fighting labor disputes, showing up and organizing strikes so that way healthcare workers could have better experiences serving at the bedside. But let me just tell you something. There's a bigger thing that people are missing here. Shaun King is an ambulance chaser, in my opinion. I watch every time a person is shot and killed that we posted on Hollywood Unlocked. It's right there on Shaun King's website or on his Instagram, and he's pushing people to sign up for these petitions. When you sign up for petitions, you are giving away your email addresses and sometimes your phone numbers. That data is power. That data is money. He owns an online magazine or online news company that he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not in the millions, in that we don't know where that money is going. And I believe that is why I am in a for-profit situation. If I was back in doing what I was doing in the day, fighting for social justice or, organizing my community around Black Lives Matter, that money would be raised solely for the purpose of going back into my communities, creating programs, creating situations to defend these parents. Some of these parents who lose their kids may not have therapy. Provide therapy for them. Provide support for their little siblings. Why don't you do things to relocate a family who was shot and, somebody was shot and killed in their home, and now everybody knows where they live because now they may be in danger. What are you doing with the money, Shaun? Why are you blocking Black media who are asking questions? Why is your family saying your birth certificate says that you're a white man out here acting like a Black man? Why is it that you believe that you are beyond reproach? Why do you believe we don't have the right to ask questions? And why are you profiting from what this mother is saying off of a dead Black kid? A dead Black kid that represents multiple Black kids who are killed at the hands of white policemen. You should be ashamed of yourself. And you know what? I'm not going to shame people who are successful in philanthropy because you can become a millionaire in philanthropy. However, you have an obligation to disclose your money. You have an obligation to disclose how much money you're making as the employee of that organization. And you also absolutely should never be in a crosshairs with the mother of a dead person who you have profited from. That is embarrassing. It is disrespectful. And you know what? I'm taking back my position and my policy. Shaun King needs to be canceled. He needs to be canceled until he can come before this mother and right the wrong, and before he can go and do an interview. And if not with me, go do it with Charlemagne. Go do it with somebody that you trust, or do it with somebody who you know will let you talk your because Blue Damage, I don't know. Blue, you said you did a thorough investigation. He's done some interviews explaining the birth certificate scandal. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
No, I was more looking at the money because people were trying to get paid. The piece was more focused on his lack of transparency with his funds.
Right. And so
I have
what
a question though about that though. Did he ever directly address? Because I think to your point, it's dangerous to be a gatekeeper for the Black community, but we used to have transparency around if you are Black yourself when such big accusations are coming from your own family, bruh. Like that's damning.
Yeah, no, he did talk about the fact that his mother had an affair, put another man's name on his birth certificate and all that. And you know what? Sometimes that does happen. My mother gave me another man's last name. She didn't put a name of a man on my birth certificate because she was a side chick. I've talked about that in my book. But you know what? That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough for me. And you know what? It ain't even, it's the audacity that it's the audacity with your expectation that we just accept whatever you say. Where is the money going? What are you doing? Where?
I think what's sick, like you said, worse than stealing the money, you're raising the money. So, like you said, ambulance chasing. A situation happens, you create a cause around it where everyone in good faith is giving, and then it's like years later, we're like, yeah, what happened to the money? And people have been speaking up. Like I said, this is all alleged. I don't know what's true and what's not true. But I will say that I know for a fact that she is not the first woman to be asking, where's the money? A lot of people have been asking where the money is.
And the emphasis is that his biggest supporters, like people who are going to be in the comments saying, Blue, why aren't you speaking up for Shaun? You should love him. I think it's disgusting, and I'm going to say this on the record, that Shaun King, he basically profits off of pain, but the number one group of people that he attacks are Black women. And when he gets in trouble, the number one group that he uses as a shield to protect him is Black women. If you are a Black woman defending Shaun King without doing your homework, you are just collateral damage. He does not care about you. He does not care about you, sis.
Wait. So is he a gaslighter?
Absolutely. If you go on Twitter and put in Shaun King, it'll be countless faces of Black women and the men who love them saying he is not it. Talcum X is not it, y'all. He's not it.
Not talcum. Oh, talcum X. Is that like talcum powder? Is that like talcum powder? Okay, I can't.
If you take
So
Talking
listen,
Part and pour it all of Malcolm X, you get Shaun King.
and you know, I want to say this because Yandy is a friend of mine. I like you, Yandy. You know, I love you, but this is why you have to stay clear. You know, I wanted to have Tamika Mallory and Shaun King here on the show some time ago in the heart of one of the deaths of one of the black men. I can't remember. And Tamika Mallory was going to come on the show, but we couldn't figure out timing or something. She had a lot going on. This was when she had done that speech in the heart of the Black Lives Matter, and she was like everywhere. We couldn't find the date, but Yandy had connected me with her. And I can't remember if it was Yandy or Tamika who gave me Shaun King's number. And me and Shaun King were texting each other, and we were talking about me getting on the phone with him because I wanted to interview him. And I think, you know, anybody with me, like, this is my test for when people are hiding. Okay, this is my Tyga test. This is what I'm going to call it now, the Tyga test. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh.
When you're hiding,
Okay.
you don't get close to me because you like, because if I get close to him, he going to sniff it out. I ain't going to get close. They don't want to get close. They want to be cool. They want to be in the orbit. Because me and Tyga, we've talked about him coming on the show. But they don't want to get too close because they know I'm going to ask the questions that you, Joe Public, want to know. And the problem here is that while I really thought Shaun was doing a great job of informing people, which again, from the union, I learned there are different stages of action. There's information, agitation, and then action. He does a great job of informing us. All those dead black bodies are all over his Instagram. He does a great job of sending out emails, asking you to ask more people to send their emails so he can build up his database that he's going to retarget people for other campaigns that have nothing to do with the frustration and argument or angst that they're experiencing that one time they give you that one email address. Then, after he informs you of the dead bodies and he agitates the out of you, he doesn't do anything. And that right there is when all of you black people who look at him as your Malcolm X and your Martin Luther King because you didn't do no research and you don't care about history, you're the reason why he living up in that mansion, looking down on all you dead bodies and taking from the dead body mamas, and y'all made it happen. So you have to take responsibility.
All we need is transparency. If Shaun King was transparent and brought his receipts and his accountant and cleared this up, this could all be over. That's why I think something smells fishy is if you were transparent, this would all go away. Go ahead, Damage. I don't understand.
And let's be real for all the supporters of Shaun King. Like, this is not to come at you any type of way because there's a thin line between good and evil. Let's be real. Had Shaun King never did anything positive, I'm sure he's done a lot of positive things. But at the end of the day, like Jason said, there's information, there's agitation, but where's the follow through? You're raising this money for these causes and the money's not getting to the destination. That's a huge problem. And for people that donate, this is why I like to be a part of the activism. If I'm going to do something, I want to be there physically because you think you're giving your money and then you don't even see where it goes. You don't even see what happens with it. And that's really, to some degree, is some laziness on our part, the people that donate sometimes. You can't just send your money off somewhere and think it fixes a problem. You have to see it through. And right now, all the people that donated, you're hearing it from the source. Tamir Rice's mother, that she did not get the money. People should be furious, not just her. Everyone that donated should be upset. If I gave any money, I would be pissed. So,
well, I'm going to go a step further. Y'all talk about protect black women. The way y'all try to drag the founder of the Black Lives Matter, Patrice, all across the coals, saying that she was stealing money and doing things because as a successful black woman, she earned all that money doing things outside of her movement. The way y'all drug her for filth, you made her show her receipts. You made her not apologize, but explain herself. You made this woman, you try to destroy this woman who, in my eyes, has done the most amazing, impactful movement in my life since I've been a black man in this country. You tried to destroy that woman, and y'all ain't over there demanding the same type of for this white man, alleged white man. You talk about transparency, white is transparent. Let's be transparent since you're transparent, okay? I want answers, and I want y'all to tell me why Patrice had to go through what she had to go through for Black Lives Matter. We know what BLM, Black Lives Matter. Why? Because Black Lives Matter. What is Shaun King? Just a name. What is he doing? Just a name.
I want to give a quick shout out to my prototype, the reason that I am a writer and a social commentator, James Baldwin. Today is his birthday. The day that we're taping is James Baldwin's birthday.
James Baldwin was a Leo?
Yes, James Baldwin, my favorite human on the planet who I have never met, was a Leo. And the thing about James Baldwin that I love, and I love that we're having this conversation, James Baldwin's best friends were Malcolm, Martin and Medgar. He was the friend that kept them together when Malcolm and Martin weren't kind of feeling each other, right? And they were his friends. They loved him. This gay Black man was at the forefront of the movement, right? Bayard Rustin, Martin Luther King's right-hand man, aside from being cool with James Baldwin, was a gay Black man. And so a lot of times there are gay Black men and women at the forefront. And yet we drag them and we act as if the gay rights movement and the Black rights movement are separated, when Coretta flat out said herself that if Martin was alive, he would have been fighting for gay rights. So I just want to point out that Black women and gay people have been at the forefront of the struggle. But when you try to deify this questionable Black man, instead of doing your homework because you want him to be the Messiah, look where we're at. We get no grace. So I just want to point that out on Baldwin's birthday. Please recognize that all types of Black people can lead the movement, not just people like him.
And in this moment to realize that James Baldwin and I are both Leos, because my birthday is August 16th, and that I'm a gay Black man, and I could have been hanging out with Martin and Malcolm sipping the tequila on the side. Mm-hmm. Baby, when I tell you, I would have been right there talking about, don't you let Malcolm X get through the red rope. All right, but listen, speaking of standing up for homosexual rights, Blac Chyna done laid Tyga out this week on social media, baby. When I tell you, look, the old Jason Lee would have felt some type of way, because outing people and attacking children, except for, who's in Atlanta, is not, it's against the rules here at Hollywood Unlocked. We do not out people, we don't attack children. Now, for years, we've heard about, Tyga allegedly liking transsexual women. Remember, there was that one woman that posted Tyga's penis. It's all over the internet. Pause this right now. Go to your phone and Google it. It's pretty big and nice. But anyway, it's there, right? So this transsexual had posted this penis picture a long time ago. And, everybody had their woo-ha about it. I got into a big fight with B. Scott because B. Scott had broke the story at the time. And I felt like as Black people, gay people, we should not be outing people, because in our community, the coming out process is a very delicate process that a lot of people, unfortunately, end their lives over. Well, Tyga hasn't ended his life, nor has his career been ended, but he has been outed by his baby mama, friend to the show, Blac Chyna. Now, Blac Chyna posted some cryptic, no, they ain't cryptic. Maybe she posted some tweets. This is what she said. Tyga loves trans. Me too. And then she went on to say, tell the truth, Tyga.
Yikes.
So
that was clear. That was not cryptic, Jason, at all.
Well, Damage Blue, at this point, the whole world is now talking about it. Social media is on fire. We posted them on Hollywood Unlocked. But I have to say, after what DaBaby has done at Rolling Loud, I have no sympathy for these hip-hop stars being outed. Whether you're being outed by your mama, baby mama, your brother, your cousin, or the homie who sucked you off for a PS5 controller. Like, I'm not having any empathy anymore, although I love Tyga in a non-sexual way. I don't feel bad for him. What do you think?
Woo. Now, here's the thing, right? Is this just a case of a domestic baby mama, baby daddy situation, and this is going online? Maybe they're in a rough spot right now. Do we just take Chyna's words as truth just because she tweeted it? That's where I'm at with this.
Well, since we're talking about signs, Chyna's a Taurus. We don't lie. I believe her. We will hurt you with the truth. Here's the thing. I'm conflicted. I am a big proponent of Angela and the way that she sometimes doesn't get the credit for how strong she is. However, I do feel a way. I'm going to always feel a way about people being outed, just because, like to Jason's point earlier, it is such a delicate thing and there are other people involved. I also want to point out that trans people do need to be loved. And so there's nothing wrong with liking transgender women. They need to be loved too. Desirability is a thing that all human beings need touch. I'm just sad that whatever's happening between Tyga and Chyna in real life has translated on Twitter, but I don't disbelieve her. I've never seen her lie. I don't think she's a liar, so I believe her.
Well, word on the street. Okay, let's just cut to the chase. Word on the street is that Tyga and Chyna used to go to these sex parties and hook up with trans women. That is what I heard. Now, I don't know that to be true. My opinion is, if she's saying that you love trans and so do I, based on what I've heard in the past, what the streets have said, that sounds to be true. I also understand from word on the street is that Tyga was going to put the trans girl, Nikita Dragon, in his OnlyFans. I don't know in what capacity or what she was going to be doing, but I understand that she was going to be in his OnlyFans. Now, here's the deal. Tyga, if you love trans girls, bravo. Nobody cares. Where people are going to care is when your baby mama has to tell us before you.
I'm just gonna ask a question. Now, if he was to be him, is he supposed to put out an announcement saying that he loves trans women? Is that something he's
Yes,
supposed to
yes,
do?
Yeah.
yes. And you know
Malik
what?
Yoba did that. Malik Yoba was in the same
No,
position, and he
no,
came out
no.
and said,
Just
She,
"Yeah."
asking.
no. She did not do that. She did not do that. Miss Malik said she was trans attracted.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
That wasn't, and she went on the Breakfast Club because she knew that they, and them, they were going to let her get away with it. You can't sit here trans attractive. I can smell out the trans attractive. What is it? I'd have never heard of trans attracted until that day. People in the streets have been
So,
talking about Malik Yoba loving trans women for years.
yeah.
And so the fact that you went on the Breakfast Club to talk to these heterosexual people in what you thought would be a safe environment, when Malik knew he was invited to the show by other people to come here, and he passed it up. Why? Because he knew he would have to come here and explain the trans attraction. These men, Blue and Damage, they don't own loving trans women or gay boys, gay men, whatever. They are trans attracted and evading responsibility or the obligation to clarify because of the fear of what's going to happen to them.
So if you go back and watch, and Jason, you're right, but if you go back and watch the clip, Malik Yoba knew that he was not equipped to have that conversation on his own. So we have to give credit. We always give credit to Damage when Damage is like, okay, I'm the straight guy. Explain it to me slow, right? Malik was honest. He was like, look, I'm not equipped to have this conversation. So he actually had my very good friend, David Johns from the National Black Justice Coalition, is actually on that Breakfast Club interview, sitting next to Malik the entire time, translating things properly for him in a way that does make sense. And David would be happy to come on this show if you guys want him to. But he wanted to make sure that we were not demonizing, to your point earlier, the trans women. We were talking about Malik and his attraction and the scandal that happened to him without demonizing the women who were involved. So that interview was probably done in the cleanest way that I've ever seen someone in the limelight try to do this. He knew not to have that conversation by himself. He had experts sitting next to him, making sure that he was on the right side of history. I commend him for that, at least.
I saw the interview. Shout out to David Johns. He's more than welcome to come on the show. I thought the interview was watered down. I thought that it was too padded for safety. It gave him too much. Like, I think they're definitely, because there was a trans girl in that room. I think she was black. No, not the black girl.
Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah,
she was on her. She even was calling him out on his.
His face.
That's who I want on this show, because even with Tyga, who we're talking about today, here's the questions. I understand that you find them trans attractive. Have you ever had sex with a trans woman? Now, what the rumor on the street was, and I don't know this to be true, and in my opinion, I don't even know what the truth is anymore, is that the other woman that was sitting at the table at that interview, the white woman, I can't remember her name, that trans woman and him were an item at some point. I don't know it to be true, but I'm just saying, right?
Yeah,
they were. The honesty that people want from the people that they invest in. These celebrities become packaged brands. We invest. You're NYPD Blue. You're Tyga. Taste. We want to know what you're tasting.
Ooh.
We want to know. Sell us on what you are for real. And that's all people are asking for. And I think in that interview at the Breakfast Club, where they all fell short. And Charlamagne and Envy and Angela, it was probably a sensitive conversation for them too, because they're not in our community, but I am, you are, and that's where I think we could have asked some different questions. But anyway, whatever. The bottom line is, for all of you that are out there, whether you're laying with a trans woman or a trans man or a man or female or whatever you are, straight, gay, non-binary, this, them, they, just be you and live in your truth, because the reason why Lil Nas X is more famous than all of you right now is because the world who wants to change but is afraid to is getting behind him. Y'all better follow the wave.
I don't see what would be, if that's his truth, I don't see what damaging things would happen to his brand. I feel like if anything, it would elevate his brand. But I don't know. Look, what people do in their bedroom is really none of my damn business. So,
well, damage, it's mine. But because their business is my business. Okay.
Literally.
Listen, Listen, another person whose business is our business is Simone Biles, who we all love. She's over there in Tokyo fighting for America. Well, you remember she had dropped out because she had some issues related to wanting to take a break for mental health reasons. Well, now she's returning to the Olympics, or it was announced that she's returning to the Olympics for the balance beam final. So earlier this week, she competed. And the good news was confirmed earlier this week. And then, now people are talking about it. And there was this whole conversation online of whether or not her, Naomi Osaka, and other athletes who are Black folks who are out there fighting for America should have even gone or been considered if they needed to take these breaks. And I'm saying, how amazing is it that people who are at the top of their game decided to take a step back in order to make mental health, which is a taboo subject in our community, such a prominent conversation. I'm here for it.
I seen a meme where it says, if mental health can be used as an excuse for mass shootings, why can't a world-class athlete use it just to take a break?
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
She's taking a break.
Because it's white people doing the mass shootings.
She's been competing her whole life. This is the first time she's taking a mental break at the Olympics, and now it's a problem. I'm confused. And this person, we talking about a killer. We're not talking about somebody that goes out there and half-asses it. We talking about somebody that goes out there and change the game, doing things they've never seen done before. I think she deserves a mental break. I deserve a mental break, and I don't do one cartwheel. So I'm glad she did that. I'm glad she did that. And
No, I agree with you, Damage. Look, I'm sitting here next to Kelvin, who produces the show. One day I called Kelvin and we got into it on the phone. I can't remember what it was. This told me he needed to pray about it and talk to Jesus. Now, that could have been his plea for a mental health break.
It was.
He sounded like he needed a mental health break. But I don't even know our rules over here, Hollywood. I was like, you ain't got to pray to Jesus. Jesus on the main line right now. What is the problem?
No.
Look, he came back to work the next day. Whatever. We're a different type of environment. But I do believe, except for everybody at Hollywood Unlocked, if you need a mental health break, take your days. Take your break. But I love the fact that not only has she been competing her whole life, the girl has been at the top of her game also. Like, she's not, you know what I mean? She's like at the top. Naomi Osaka is at the top of the game. Let's be very clear, though. They're both at the top of white people sports. And white people... let me say, no,
yeah.
Tennis, even though Serena and Venus have been at the top, they've been treated... Look at how they was treating Serena on the court. That man, the way he was talking down to her and the way she had to check his ass. Because she said, you're not doing it for the white men. There is racism embedded in these white people sports. The Olympics, even though it's Black people out there making it hot, like we do everything, these is white people sports. Wheaties, this ain't Cocoa Puffs, this is Wheaties. Okay?
This ain't Cocoa Puffs. Okay, hold on, Jason. Before we go into Rice Krispie treats.
I eat Cocoa Puffs. I don't eat Wheaties.
The thing that I was thinking about is everyone keeps saying, I just want to have like a quick fact check and let Simone's flex for a second through me. Everyone keeps saying she's at the top of her game. She's not at the top of her game. She actually surpassed the game several months ago. On a scale of 1 to 10, Simone Biles was performing at a 15 to the point where they literally have to score her differently from everybody else because she's competing against herself now.
No, they want to put her in the black box. She surpassed her game. They would never admit that we took over their game. Are you crazy? Are you dumb? We took over their game, the overall game. No, honey. You took over your game. You still in your box. People need to start paying attention. I'm telling you, I'm in rooms where even as big as I believe I am and people can make me believe I am, they still put me in that box. We are different. We are held to different standards. Blue, Damage, y'all know this. These people, and I'm not even... When people look at me, they don't look at me the same way they may look at a Damage or you or a Simone Biles. Let's keep it clear. I've had some privilege, right? But in my heart, I look at my sister Dolores, who's a dark skin. She darker than both of you, doctor. I look at my aunts and uncles, my grandmother, Maybelle Tanner, who came from Mississippi with all her children. She had 15 children. I have family my family ain't Black. My family is...
Oh.
You understand? So I know what it feels like to be in an environment with my people who are treated... My uncle got shot wrongfully by the police. I understand it. So look at this girl. She can't even have this conversation because she's trapped
She
in that
had to come
box.
back. What I was trying to say is she surpassed the game. She could have literally packed her bags, went home, and retired forever and still been the GOAT. The reason why she had to come back is America tends to get gold. And the week that she went away, they started doing silver. And she said, and she was on the sidelines clapping and cheering them on. It was almost like Batman got a bat signal. She was like, "Oh, they need me." So how
Mhm.
crazy is it that this black woman who's been wronged, who's literally passed the game, went back for her team? That is the epitome of good sportsmanship. So anybody who calls her a bad sportsman for leaving the first place got her up.
But
That's what I want to say. She
wait,
went back to
is
help
it
them.
wait, no, 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 I don't agree with that. I don't think it was bad sportsmanship. I think it was
I
the
don't think it
same as
was at
when
all.
I think let me say this. I think it was the same as when a woman is beaten by her man and shamed into going back and having sex with him because it's your job to be there for your man. She didn't have to, when she left for her, America beat her up for abandoning America, and then guilt went right back in spite of her own mental health needs. That's a shame. That's my opinion, but that's a shame. It's the same as when a woman says, I got to go back for my man. I got to go back for my kids. No, they beat you up. You mentally weren't ready. You walked away. Stay away until you're ready. If you ever want to come back, it's your choice. And I feel like, again, people put a lot of pressure on these athletes, but specifically black athletes. And again, Damage, you watch sports way more than I do. I don't, I know that there's a field goal at the NBA games. That's all I
Wait,
know about
what?
sports. Right. That's my point. But Damage, you see firsthand how athletes are treated, even like a LeBron who's held to like this godlike standard where he has to always perform at perfection. And Giannis, look at this guy who just won the NBA championship. He's one of the nicest guys. They even talk crazy about him.
They do.
They treat you like a workhorse. They like, no, girl, you can't get tired. You supposed to get out there and yeah. Like, oh no, yeah, exactly. Now America's all about Team USA. We're the country. We're united. Since when? Because the Olympics is on TV now.
I'm
If
definitely
I
gonna
if I was Simone Biles and all them, I would have never came back. Y'all. For
I'm
real. Fuck
definitely
y'all.
I'm definitely gonna make the Damaged horse sound a sound
That was a
effect
lot.
here at the show for sure. Listen, I was minding my business while my team was managing other people's business, and it was Twitter that was going crazy about shade that was apparently thrown at Shikari Richardson by Nicki Minaj. Now, before I say this, I wasn't even on Twitter that day, don't know anything about Twitter, but Shikari had posted a tweet saying, quote, "Are you missing me yet?" to her Twitter after the U.S. team fell short of winning a gold medal in women's track. Well, Nicki Minaj posted a tweet right after that congratulating the Jamaican track team. And this is what she said: "Queen tings, you bitches can't relate, and that's okay." Now, Barb's were going crazy saying Nikki's been supporting the Jamaican team or Jamaica. That's Nikki supporting Jamaica. A lot of people were saying the timing was off. There were other tweets that Shikari had posted about Nikki in the past. She said, "LOL, is it just me? But Nicki Minaj in Barbershop was kind of annoying." Yeah, so people are making the connection and saying that was why Nikki was shading her.
I don't want to see this, man. I'm gonna have a corny kumbaya moment. I don't want to see two of the most powerful women. And Shikari Richardson, she's powerful. What she's done has been groundbreaking. Salute to her. Salute to Nikki. I don't want to see them go at each other. It's not what we need right now, honestly. Now, if Nikki is supporting, the Jamaican track team, that she can do that, but we don't have to shade each other. To me, I don't like it. I'm sorry for the kumbaya moment. I feel like we need right now in 2021 we all need to stick together. I'm not for it. My bad. Sorry, y'all.
No, I don't
Have to
even think it's
apologize.
kumbaya. I think it's a reach. I actually don't think Nikki was shading her at all. I think it was just really bad timing of two tweets that happened to go out around the same time. If you actually look at how Nikki's been talking since she's come out of her maternity leave and loving up on her baby, she's actually been sending random loving messages to women across the board for months now. So this would be very atypical and nothing like how she showed up. One thing that really makes me sad sometimes is sometimes you get nasty feedback from people that you don't about things about you that they don't like. And you're defensive at first, but then you disappear for a little bit and you take it on and you make adjustments. I personally was a huge Nicki Minaj critic back in the day, but the person that I've seen come back has clearly evolved. And I think we're still thinking about Nicki from the past. I think she's evolved, and I don't think that the current Nicki would ever shade Shikari. So I don't believe it's actually true. I think it's just a coincidence.
Well, I wanted to think that too, but unfortunately, there's a lot of information out there that I'm gathering that I have yet to put out yet, and it's
Oh no,
coming.
I was
The one
trying.
thing I,
Oh
the one
damn.
thing I, the one thing I will say is that Nikki is very strategic in how she does things, right? Like I wanted to call Nikki last week and try to piece it up. I was going to get her number and all that, but then I started hearing rumblings of different things, people she's allegedly bullying, things that she's liking on Instagram. Recently, she did a song with Bia, who I love. I was just on a flight where I was sitting next to Bia, who's a talented rapper. She has a new song out called "Whole Lot of Money." Nicki's on the remix. There were all these tweets that Bia had where she was talking about how much she liked Cardi and wanted to work with Cardi or whatever. And then the minute the song dropped, all those tweets are now gone. It's not coincidence. You know,
Oh.
Nicki, I think, is perfecting not putting her fingerprints on things because she doesn't want to be perceived for who she really is. But I think that there's just very, very interesting things happening in the world of Nicki Minaj. And look, I want her to be the queen that she deserves to be. But until she grows up and grows past this petty bull, the perception of petty, she's going to continue to be drugged. Now, all the barbs are going to go crazy and they're going to say, look at Jason's attacking Nicki Minaj again. No, I'm only saying my opinion. I'm looking at what I'm seeing, and I'm hearing things in the streets. And It's gonna be interesting to see how things work out. All right, so look, we'll let that go. But look, in more serious news, I'm not a big TikToker, and I know TikTok is a big thing. But recently, here in Los Angeles County, in our area down here, we had a major shooting happen within a movie theater. So a TikTok star, Anthony Barajas, has just recently passed away. And before that, the girl he was with, she was 18 years old. He was 19 years old. She passed away from gunshot wounds. Now, these two were in a movie theater watching a movie. And while they were there, a shooting took place. And people, I guess, didn't know that they had been shot until they were cleaning up the theater. And the people cleaning the theater found the girl dead and found him severely injured. Now, he was critically injured and then went to a hospital where he was on life support. And recently he was taken off. They were watching this movie, The Forever Purge, at this theater, and then a guy named Joseph Jimenez, 20 years old, opened fire in the crowd, hitting both of them. Crazy times. This is why I'm not going out.
I'm just taking it back that they didn't even discover the bodies until they just started cleaning up. This is crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blue. I can't even. I didn't know this happened.
No, what I was gonna say is I've always loved the movies, but my biggest fear since COVID happened was when I could go back. So for me, it's like seeing your worst fear play out in the news. The day that they came out, I was literally on the phone with a friend, and the report came across the thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that is disgusting." And then as you started hearing details about the fact that they were found, and you realized who it was, and you know how there's all these young impressionable kids on TikTok who were attached to one of the kids who passed away, suddenly it just kept on snowballing and became more and more horrifying. And so for me, I'm just curious about what is this new world that we're entering in post COVID. You know what I mean? Like gun violence is now a topic that kids are talking about more because it's impacted them differently. I remember when I was younger and Aaliyah died, it made me suddenly look at death differently because it was somebody in my age bracket. Now these kids who have been making these fun videos are getting this sobering reality check, and now suddenly they're being emboldened to want to talk about gun violence. And so I'm hoping something good can come from this tragedy, and that those fans of his who are mourning him can get more civically engaged. But my heart goes out to the family because that's just a disgusting and tragic and completely blindsiding way to lose somebody.
And it's scary these days. Like you don't even know where you can go that's considered safe. Like, is the grocery store safe? The movie theater is not safe. Where can you
Exactly.
go and feel safe with your family? Like, I mean, I wouldn't take my son to the Forever Purge, but I could have took my girlfriend. I could have took my mom to the movies. Like, where can you go now in this world and feel safe? And I feel like that's where it's getting scary. Um, Man, my heart goes out to the families of the lost ones. Man, that's tragic.
Well, we do live in a world now where, usually when I travel overseas, security's on my mind. I got to think of where I'm moving, how I'm moving, because in some, countries that are poor, you know, y- you'll get robbed. Things can happen. We see things happen all the time. But when I think about, your question, Blue, about like what world do we live in post COVID, that is a real thing. Even going to the grocery store, I told you the story here where somebody was almost trying to fight me at the airport. People's tension is just so high. People are so angry and so tense, and it is a scary place. I really feel like even once everything is, back to whatever perceived normal is, whatever that is, there still needs to be at least a year of people like being able to de-escalate and like calm down and regroup, because I feel like there's a lot of PTSD. You know, I think about when we went in COVID. Blue, I remember when you weren't coming out the house, you weren't going nowhere.
I
You
was
know,
scared. So
you know
scared.
what I mean? And then now it's like, go out. Oh, wait, come back in. You know, I just feel like mentally people are not processing it enough. But I mean, like Damage said, a heart goes out to the families of these young people and all their fans too. You know, to see a star that you love. I too remember Aaliyah, you know, and that being so sudden, it is a emotional jerk that tears at the fabric of your psyche when you just your favorite TikToker is not going to be there anymore, you know. And so shout out to them. I know that a GoFundMe account was launched in support of all his medical expenses and now funeral expenses. So again, we hope that, you know, everything you know, gets better for the family. Another person that I hope things get better for is Alfonso Ribeiro. You may remember he played Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Well, he's calling out the Black community because he's saying all of y'all turned your back on him for choosing to have a white woman. Now, I didn't think that Carlton Banks was going to marry a Black woman. Did you?
Nobody.
I didn't even know he was married.
But are you surprised? No, of course not.
But is he saying this because of the lack of roles after he
Listen,
played in the Fresh Prince? What is he saying?
Well, he opened up in an interview recently about his career not feeling supported by Black people, despite the show being a major hit for the culture. Now, he says he doesn't feel loved by Black people because of his interracial relationship, and that he's trying to get through people judging him throughout his career. Now, I'll tell you, when you put on the Dockers, the khaki pants, the sweaters, and you was doing the whole Carlton Banks dance and all that, you became an iconic figure for what that represents in our culture. And then we didn't see you at the Black Lives Matter marches, and we didn't see you on Family Feud or on BET After Dark. Where was you at? You wasn't on 106 in Park. You didn't pull up here. Have you been on the Breakfast Club? What are you doing to come and show us that you even acknowledge that we're here? Y'all sitting up in Beverly Park, you know, eating red vines and smoking cigarettes. I don't know what you guys are doing, Carlton.
Now, and I could be wrong, so y'all help me out here. The Fresh Prince was produced or executive produced by Will Smith, right?
And
isn't he Black?
And Quincy Jones.
But Black, Quincy
yeah.
Jones, Will Smith was there as some kind of producer, but Black people, right?
Yep.
Since then, what is he talking about? Because his career was started by Black people. I still watch the show to this day. I'm a Black person. I love his character. Is he mad he didn't get other roles? Is that really the fault of Black people or the people that run the television industry and the movie industry? I don't think they're necessarily Black. So who is he really mad at?
Well, when
he stays employed. He stays employed.
When you think of Karen Parsons, who played Hillary, you know, if you see her come out in a BBC video, you know what I mean, with Big Mandingo, you're going to be like, wait a minute, that was Hillary Banks. It's going to throw you, right? Karen has decided to stay off the radar. We don't see Hillary. Carlton, you did Dancing with the Stars. White people, we don't see you with us. At least go to Cane's Chicken and take a picture in the drive-thru and show us that you even eat chicken. Like, do you like watermelon? What in our community that's stereotypical that white people do to normalize being around Black people? What do you do? Like, I don't know.
I just don't know what kind of support he's looking for. Like, did he want to be in Medea's movies? Like, I'm confused. What support is he not getting? I don't get it.
So funny about this is that I actually am an Alfonso Ribeiro fan. I remember him. I remember him before Fresh Prince when he was in the Pepsi commercial with Michael Jackson as a kid, and he was getting them so I remember him for a long time. This is the thing that I think is actually happening. I think he's projecting an insecurity and blaming the community for it. Because let's keep it a buck. There are different archetypes within the Black community. He clearly was playing the Oreo archetype, right? The slightly whitish, preppy Black guy. He literally made millions and started his whole career on the back of that portrayal. Then he went on to do Dancing with the Stars, America's Funniest Videos, every PG-13, yeah, Bob, back to you, thing that he could do, he got booked for. So he's getting steadily booked playing this stereotype. And to Jason's point, is doing nothing to change that. So he typecast himself and is now retroactively blaming us after the checks cleared. Alfonso, I think you're projecting an insecurity. Nobody cares about your
Alfonso, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you out. I want to interview you at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to take the hit because not all Black people like chicken. I can barely process chicken at this point. But I just threw that out there because I want to see if you would actually be dumb enough to go and eat chicken on your Instagram. Because at that point, it's gonna be great content for Hollywood Unlocked. But I will say, Carlton. I mean, what's his name? Alfonso.
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 Alfonso. Like nobody's thinking about you like that, bro. But look, we loved you in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You are iconic for playing the white black boy, and that is who you are. And until you start doing more things with us, like we love you over here. Come over here, man. I will dress up like you for that episode. Like for real. Matter of fact, Damage, you dress up like Will. You be Hillary. No, this is what you could do, Blue. Play both moms.
Oh my god. That would be a makeup feat. I'd have to get okay.
Oh yeah, we'd have to pause.
I'll play on Viv. I'll play on Viv.
Well, listen. Let me tell you who ain't playing. There's this rapper. Now, I don't know who he is. And please, sir, I know you're in the streets because I saw you making all kinds of threats. Please just know I'm doing my job. His name is 42 Dugg. He's lashing out at fans who threatened to call CPS over this video. Now, he was seen showing fatherly love in a video that has made people go crazy. We actually got a call from the label that asked us to delete it. And we did delete the video because it made... it had a kid involved. And anytime there's a kid involved, I'm very sensitive to people's children. So I was like, okay, I'll delete it. But then he started talking about it more, so I have to talk about it. 42 Dugg is angry because he posted this video. He since then has deleted it. Now, this was a birthday post dedicated to his son. And when he did this, people went crazy. Take a look. Yeah, so he's upset that people are talking about it. And now here we are talking about it.
It looks weird. Let's be honest. It looks weird. It was a little slithery tongue thing. Something looked like you're doing your lady. It did look weird. But at the end of the day, I don't think people should be, saying they're going to report him. And, any talks like that as a father that's active, if you trying to remove a child from them, from their care, hurt their relationship in any way, I think it's nasty. You don't have to like the affection that he gave his son. But clearly, I think his son is safe. I don't like all that rhetoric. I didn't like all the comments, but I did personally look at it and was like, that's a little different. I probably wouldn't do that. But at the same time, there's people that don't lift up their kids' shirts and blow on their belly. Some people think that's weird. Everybody has their little thing they do with their children. As long as their children are safe, I think it's cool. I do definitely think it's whack, though. A lot of people on social media talking about they're going to report him and he needs to not have his kid. That's when it's just going too far, y'all. Like, I get it. You can have your opinions. You can laugh. You can think something's nasty, but don't talk like that. I think that was really in poor taste for people on social media to do that.
Yeah, there was a video. I can't remember who it was, but I have a friend who his dad, and when he was a kid, would kiss him on the mouth. And there was a video of a guy kissing his son on the mouth. And I remember the first time I saw that, it took me aback for a second. Like, wait, what happened? And then we had a conversation. I asked him about it. I was like, well, your dad did what? And he explained to me, he was like, my dad's really affectionate. And my white friends' dads did that and nobody had a thing. He was like, I think sometimes we're just as a society not used to seeing Black men show tenderness to each other and to their children, that what could be an innocent moment is so weird to us and so jarring to us that we assume something bad must be happening. And so a part of me kind of feels like, I don't think everybody who made those comments was malicious. I think some folks are literally just not used to seeing that form of tenderness with a father and a son, particularly with Black men in particular, and they took it too far. And if they really cared about that child, I don't think reporting him in that way would have made sense. I would have looked him up to see what's his history with his kids. You know what I mean? But no, I think this was probably innocent. It did look weird to my sensibilities, but to your point, everybody has different affection levels with people. I wouldn't kiss my dad on the mouth, but I would do a raspberry on my baby cousin's neck, say in the same spot. You know what I mean? Where's that line? I think we're all so different. You have to be careful when you make those kind of accusations, especially today.
I mean, but y'all drug Baby and Lil Wayne for kissing on the mouth, and maybe because they were older, but it still was the affection he was showing. His son at the time. I don't think Lil Wayne is gay at all. I don't see Lil Wayne as being a part of this community, and he's one of the best rappers to ever live. I love his daughter, Regine. She had to watch people drag her dad and say that he was gay. So, I mean, I agree with Damage. Like, show affection to your kid. I'm just glad he's in his kid's life. But I will say when I saw the video, it made me uncomfortable. Now, it didn't make me uncomfortable to the point to where I called CPS. But it made me uncomfortable. I was like, I wouldn't want my dad to do that to me, and I wouldn't do it to my kid if I had a kid. You know what I mean?
I mean, the kid was kind of brushing it off too. Like it was clearly in a joking moment, and we only got a piece of what's happening. We don't really know what the play was. I mean, did it look weird? Yeah, it looked weird. But for people saying they're trying to get his kid taken away, like,
Yeah.
come on, y'all. There's so many things happening in the world that you can stand up for. That's what you're doing with your spare time. That's lame.
Well, the rapper saw what everybody had to say online, and he went to his Instagram, and this is what he posted. It was a lot. I ain't reading all that. Screenshot and read it later. He did send an apology on his Instagram story. This is what he said. It never be my intentions to offend anybody, even when I'm offended. So for that, I'm sorry. Usually I'm a private person when it comes to personal such as my son or my family in general. He continued. People always tell me I need to take more pictures or let my fans see something about me other than my music. Yesterday I caught myself doing that. My son's birthday was this weekend, so I decided I would let y'all see how much fun we had. The pictures, videos I posted of my son wasn't put out for feedback. That was just us being us. So for y'all to take that and make it what y'all did just reminded me of why I keep my family private.
Yeah,
He's also saying that he's not going to post his kid anymore.
he shouldn't.
He shouldn't post
He
his
shouldn't.
kid because he lacks discernment. Like I don't think people were off for finding it weird. I think if you never post and that's the first thing you post, that's a horrible first post. That is the world's worst first post. And so yeah, stay off the internet because you don't know what's cute for the internet.
That's
Weirdo.
great
Look,
advice.
he a thug dude from Detroit. He in there trying to do something different, and it went left. But at the same time, people saying they're gonna report him and all that, they took it too far. They took it
Way
too
too
far.
far.
Well, I will say one thing, 42 Doug, your tongue game is fire. Shout out to us for having another dope show, but I'm tired.
Bye guys.